Hello everybody, and welcome to the second video in a three-part series where we'll be getting all 77 achievements in the Crash N.Sane Trilogy. In the last video, we grabbed every gem, gold or platinum relic, and every miscellaneous achievement in Crash Bandicoot 1, and in this video, we'll be doing the same for Crash Bandicoot 2, Cortex Strikes Back. This game has a total of 25 achievements with 1000 gamer score, spread across 27 levels and 5 boss fights, which may seem smaller than the first game, but there are a whole load more gems to collect and secrets to find. Like in the first video in this series, I won't be showing my whole playthrough of every level, as multiple levels require 3 or 4 playthroughs for every collectible, but I will be showing all bonus, coloured gem and death route paths, my whole gold relic time trial run of every level, as well as where to get the secret exits and some more out of the way crates in the gem rooms. There is one missable achievement in this game, but luckily it's right at the start of the game, so if you do miss it, it doesn't take long to get in a fresh playthrough. I also didn't encounter any bugged achievements in this game, so without further ado, let's start the game. The game starts right at the end of Crash 1, with our main antagonist, Dr. Neo Cortex, falling after being defeated by Crash and ending up in a room full of purple crystals. And, after a year passes, he mentions having to use an enemy to get them for himself. We meet back up with Crash and Coco after this, and get sent on a quest to get a new battery for Coco's laptop. This transitions us straight into our intro stage, where we can get accustomed with the controls. Crash has a couple of extra moves in this game, including a crouch move that turns into a slide if you do it while moving. You can also perform a slide jump by pressing the jump button while you're in a slide, which is amazing for giving jumps a bit of extra height and a lot more distance. You'll be seeing me do this move a lot during this playthrough, so if you're playing along yourself, get practicing. After progressing forward a bit, we get teleported into our hub by Cortex, who says he needs our help to grab a whole bunch of purple crystals so he can stop the destruction of the world. This little area is a hub where we can access all 5 levels in World 1. Turtle Woods, Snow Go, Hang 8, The Pits, and Crash Dash. Unlike the first game, we can do these in any order we want, but we do need to grab the crystal in all 5 before we move on. Before anything else though, we are going to be grabbing our first and the only missable achievement, Cortex Infuriated. This is for a little Easter egg from the original game, where if we enter and leave any level without grabbing the crystal, Cortex gets more and more annoyed before just not talking to us anymore. You don't have to go through the whole level either, you can just enter and quit out of it 3 times to pop the achievement real quick and grab our first 20 gamer score. Enough messing around. It's time to start our first level of the game for real, Turtle Woods. You can see on the side of the level portal everything you can collect in a certain level, which is a nice helpful change compared to the original game. As well as that, we'll also be grabbing the achievement, A Road Less Travelled, for entering our first bonus area, something that's much easier in this game than in Crash 1. Anyways, as well as grabbing the required purple crystal, we'll also be grabbing a clear gem for breaking every box in the level. There are a total of 62 boxes in this level, and most new players will miss a good chunk of those their first time. The reason for that is because there is a huge secret area if you body slam the floor here. This is another new move in the game that can be carried out by jumping and pressing the crouch button in midair. Even if you do find it, getting every crate in here is a challenge in itself. You'll need to get really acquainted with the slide jump move I mentioned to get over these huge gaps without getting blown to pieces by these nitro crates. More on those in the next level. For now, just ignore them. We also get up to this platform by doing another new move, a crouch jump. Basically, if you stand still, crouch and jump, you get a bit more height and hang time to your jump. You also get a bit of mid-air control after a certain point, which is how we sort of move to the platform next to us. After a couple more slide jumps off giant emus, we grab the rest of the crates in this area and also hit this green exclamation box, a new mechanic to go with the green nitro crates. I'll go into more detail in the next level, but be sure to spin into or jump on top of this for now, and hop onto this platform to get taken back into the main level. After we get into the first checkpoint in the main level, we should have a total of 37 crates broken. A little further ahead we'll see another circle on the ground, this time with a question mark on it. Every level has something like this in it, which is how we get to the bonus area of the stage, grabbing the 20 gamer score achievement that I mentioned earlier. These areas are great for grabbing extra lives and have fun little challenges that push your mechanical knowledge and skill. Breaking the 5 crates in here takes us up to 42 crates broken. Getting a little further into the level gets us to the next checkpoint, where we should have broken a total of 46 crates. After a wall of crates and a kill pit full of moles is where we find a very well hidden crate, which we get by jumping off this turtle enemy. Again, most new players will probably miss this entirely. After another pit, we see and grab the purple crystal of the level. After one last pit, we reach the door to the end of the level. If you've broken every crate in the level, this little translucent crate and counter will turn into a clear gem. There's a total of 37 in the game, but this is how we'll be getting most of them. There we go. First level done. Well, not quite. You might have noticed the blue gem marker on the portal for the level. These are special gems that we grab to make platforms appear for secret clear gems in various levels. They all have special requirements to grab, unlike in Crash 1, where we had to do perfect runs of pretty hard levels. This first one we can grab by making it to the end of the stage without hitting a single crate, including checkpoint crates. This is actually a pretty fun challenge, and the hardest bit is to figure out how to safely get over the wall of crates here. You need to precisely jump off the multi-wumper crate, as it takes 5 bounces to break completely. Pretty neat use of this mechanic. Getting past all the pits and through the door should reveal to us the first of 5 coloured gems. The hint before getting into the level kind of spoils how to solve this, and I personally prefer the hint you got in the original game, where after you got the clear gem, the next time you got to the end, the crate counter would still read however many crates you broke out of 0. Ah well. One last thing to grab in the first level, and that's the gold relic from the time trial. Honestly, you should wait to do all of these after beating the final boss for reasons you'll see later, but for some godforsaken reason I wanted to challenge myself and to see how many I could beat along the way. The time trials require you to do a full run of the level, no checkpoints, under certain times for different coloured relic rewards. Your consolation prize is a sapphire relic, which is usually awarded upon just making it through. The gold relic, which is what we'll be aiming for, usually requires you to make it through whilst breaking all of these time stop crates and only stopping if you absolutely have to, or a platinum relic, which requires more or less perfection. For some reason this game's platinum relics are even more insane than all of the other games. God knows why. There are 3 achievements related to time trials, one for getting 5 of any grade, one for getting 10 gold or better, and one for getting all gold or better relics. The time limit for gold in Turtle Woods is an insanely tight 56.87. So let's get started. Almost right off the bat you'll see me do yet another crazy move, the slide spin jump. This gets you even more height than a regular slide jump, and we can use it to clear most of this water pit so we don't get slowed down. You can do it by sliding, jumping, and then rolling your thumb straight over to the spin button. It's worth practicing this, as it's needed for a lot of the time trials later in the game, even after you get the speed shoes after beating the game. You'll also notice that I basically never stop slide jumping in these time trial runs, and that's because it gives you a small speed boost over just running normally. When you get to this water pit, you'll want to aim a jump off the first crate, and then just before you hit the water coming down, spin to grab the next time crate. The reason why I paused the game up ahead is to move my hand from using the analog stick to using the D-pad, as I find the slide spin jumps in this area much more precise using the D-pad. Speaking of which, you can use the slide spin jumps to clear the mole pits, which is absolutely necessary for getting the gold relic time. The only advice that I have is to practice, as the timing is something you just have to feel out. After making it over the 3rd pit, we get to the end area and grab our first gold relic with about 2 seconds to spare. Honestly, this took me hours to get, and it's a very mean first time trial in the game. Again, even if you have the speed shoes, you still have to do them slide spin jumps over the mole pits. You might be able to muck up one, but that's probably about it. After all of that, we can finally move on to level 2, Snow Go. This level introduces us to the unfortunate ice physics in this game, which take a little getting used to say the least. First off, we'll be grabbing the clear gem and purple crystal. Let's also finally talk about nitro crates, another new addition to Crash 2. These are basically TNT crates on steroids. If you spin into or even touch them, you take damage, but they do still count towards the crate count at the end. So, how do you deal with them? In every level that they're in, there's one of these green exclamation boxes which detonate them all upon you spinning it. Easy as that. You can also destroy them by spinning enemies into them and, of course, running yourself into them, although I wouldn't recommend that. Anyway, on with the gem run. In the first ice area, don't forget to use your crouch jump to get this high up crate. At the end of this area is a platform, more on that later, that takes us to our first checkpoint where we should have 13 crates. After a small stretch in the 2D section, we reach our second checkpoint, which is crate number 19. Just past here is the red gem just out of reach. Forget about this for now, as we'll be grabbing this much later. Past some timed smashers as our bonus zone, where we'll quickly have to become acquainted with the ice physics. We can use our crouch jump to get these 3 crates, and then make our way to the end. Breaking everything here gets us up to 30 crates. After falling down a pit, we make it to checkpoint 3, but before we hit it, make sure to run towards the camera to find the green exclamation box to deal with the nitros. Breaking the checkpoint crate takes us all the way up to 52. This is the last stretch for the level. We grab our purple crystal behind a wall of crates, and just up this ledge is a very hidden exclamation box that we can reach by high bouncing off this bounce box, and backtracking a little for 2 crates. Sneaky. After this, it's a straight shot to the end where we grab our gem and leave. Snow Go's time trial is also a bit of a tricky one, with some very precise timing. Our time to beat is 49.64 seconds, and we'll need to break basically every time crate along the way. To start, I wait until this penguin finishes spinning before starting the time trial, as the whole level is on a global timer, so this will set things up nicely for us. We do 2 sliding spin jumps to grab everything on the ice patch, which requires some practice to line up properly. We also use the sliding spin a lot in this level, not only because it corrects our direction and speed on ice, but also because it's good for taking out certain enemies without slowing down. In the 2D section, we basically never want to stop slide jumping and slide spinning through the whole thing. The timing of everything in here is why we waited at the beginning as well, as it just makes everything line up pretty perfectly. Don't forget to pop this box, as it makes 5 seconds of time crates appear. After falling down the hole, we want to blast through this area as quick as we can, as well as breaking all the time crates we see, and rush to the finish. You can keep momentum well by continuously sliding on the ice, which will come into play more in the next ice level. We just squeeze under the goal time by 0.3 of a second. Again, these are much more lenient later on, but I just wanted to see how many I could do. Hang 8 is our next level, which is similar to Upstream from Crash 1. Lots of plants and platforming across moving platforms on water. There's a lot to get here, but we'll start with our all crate clear gem, where we'll be grabbing the achievement, a diamond in the rough, for finding a coloured gem path. There's 74 in total, and a total of 4 before the first checkpoint. After the first checkpoint, we hop onto the Watermobile, one of the gimmicks in this game. We can boost on it and jump over ramps. After this section is our second checkpoint, which is crate number 14, and the bonus platform is right after. This area is the first time we get properly tutorialized on sliding and crawling, but that's the only real thing of note here. After blasting through it, we should be up to 25 crates. Just past here is our first coloured gem path for the blue gem that we got in Turtle Woods, which using gets us our 35 gamer score achievement. These paths usually lead to harder sections of the level you're in, like in Crash 1, and some, like this, are necessary to get all the crates. After some tricky platforming across boxes, we make it to a secret third checkpoint, which is crate number 41. The next section is a water bike bit with an exclamation box at the end that makes crates appear back next to the ramps. Don't forget to spin into the nitro box at the end, bringing your crate count up to 65 before making your way back to the main level. The purple crystal is just past here, as is the fourth checkpoint, crate number 67. The last 7 are all in the final watermobile segment, and after getting to the end of the level we grab our gem. There's a second clear gem we can grab in this level too. After reaching the first checkpoint you might notice a timer starting to tick away. Making it all the way till the end of the level from here within that time gets us that clear gem. But since the gold time limit is a tighter requirement, I'll show you that full run instead. The time to beat is 1 minute 2 seconds .93, which is actually the first pretty lenient time I'd say. You can cut a load of corners and slow platforming out in this level with the slide jump and slide spin jump, so again, make sure you get lots of practice in with those moves. It's pretty hard to miss them, but make sure you grab both Aku masks as well, as they're helpful for damage boosting if you need to. You can save a small amount of time by trying to land as close to the middle of the watermobile as well to minimise the distance Crash has to jump back onto the seat. This is a really fun time trial to try and shave seconds off as well in my opinion, as so little of it involves waiting around, which is a small pet peeve of mine, and circumventing a lot of the weaving platforming bits by sliding straight over them is pretty fun. The only waiting you might have to do is in the second water bike section, if the mines are in your way after you jump over the ramps. Anyway, on only our second attempt of the time trial, we managed to squeeze about a second under the time requirement. Pretty cool! The Pits is up next, which is a harder, more orange version of Turtle Woods, with a couple of twists. Our clear gem run in this level is one of the weirder ones, so let's make a start. There's not much out of your way before the first checkpoint where you should have 9 crates broken. Just past here there is a split in the path and, yep, there's crates on both sides. We'll be taking the left path first, as there's an exclamation box to hit about halfway through, just past the first indoor bit. After a couple more crates and grabbing the purple crystal, we reach where the split reconnects and have to slowly make our way back towards the camera through the whole section and then back again. Be careful of the turtles, as there's a lot of them and you can barely see them before it's too late. After making our way back to the end of the split, we reach the fourth checkpoint where we should be at 28 crates broken. More mole pits ahead, and the bonus stage, which has a final new type of crate for the game that we can only break with the body slam. The main challenge here is making it across this gap of 3 multi-wumper crates 3 times. Rightwards the first time, back after hitting an exclamation box to grab the crates it made solid, and to the right a final time to get to the end. I'd recommend hitting only the middle one the first time, all 3 to get back to the left, and then the first and third to pop them all on the way to the end. We should have 51 crates by the end of this ordeal. The last 2 crates aren't hidden, so we break them and then grab our gem. The gold relic for this level is slightly easier than Turtle Woods, but not by much, as the level itself is longer and harder and requires us to do the sliding spin jump over the mole pits once again. The time to beat is 1:11.51 seconds, and, as always, we're going to be slide jumping and slide spinning through as much of the level as possible. This relic is much easier to do after beating the game, but I'm actually glad I got it now. There isn't much of a difference between taking the left and right path, as they take about the same amount of time, so it's just up to what you're more comfortable with. You want to grab every time stop crate you see as well. Now, in a lot of guides out there, you'll get advised to do the sliding spin jump over every pit, and to get the Platinum Relic, you do need to do that. But, since we're only going for gold, it's not game over if you miss it, as you can do a sliding spin jump in the pit to get out before you kill the moles. It's probably worth pointing out that you can use this trick in Turtle Woods again. Not for every pit, mind you, but for maybe 1 or 2 of them, depending on how fast you're going. And obviously, if you have the speed shoes that you get from beating the game, the amount that you have to do perfectly is less still. Anyway, we make it through with a second to spare. Only 1 level in World 1 left. That level is Crash Dash. If you remember the boulder levels from Crash 1, this is like a harder version of that, as we have mines which slow us down, and electric gates to dodge. Up first is our clear gem. Most of the crates are right in your way or will get crushed by the boulder, so very quickly, by the second checkpoint you should have 9. The purple crystal is at the end of the third boulder section, as well as the bonus. Now this bonus has a couple of different challenges to do, starting with this bouncing box section, then a pretty tight spin in and out of this TNT stack for a free life. If you're not bothered about the life, you can just crouch jump on top of the TNT and let them explode. And finally a bridge of crates, over a bit where you have to time going from crate to crate. People who played Crash 1 should be very familiar with this setup, but as a reminder, the multi-wumpers will break after the 5th consecutive bounce on them, so time your movement around that. After this, we should have broken 31 crates total, and crate 32 is the third and final checkpoint. You want to go as fast as possible in this section to get the rewards from the crates behind the electric gates at the end, and after breaking all of them, we grab our gem and leave. As soon as we leave the level, we have no choice but to go to our first boss fight, Ripperoo, and beating him gets us the achievement Professor Pulverized for 20 gamer score. His fight is different to the first game and a lot easier. Like most bosses in the Crash games, it's pretty simple. He has 2 phases, one where he hops around leaving TNTs that will eventually detonate on a timer, and we can walk over them safely. And phase 2 is where he will leave nitro crates, which we need to completely avoid. At the end of the phase, he'll stun himself and detonate all the nitro, letting us spin into him for damage. After repeating this pattern another 2 times, and us dodging damage like so, we win and get our Chivo and access to World 2. Back to Crash Dash for now. The gold relic for this level is a bit rough, as since you want to go as fast as possible, but since you're going towards the camera, you really have to learn the whole level by heart to know when it's safe to slide jump and where you want to be on the screen. We'll be grabbing Kick the Tires here for earning any 5 relics, but as it took me a while to get the gold relic, it was on a sapphire run. The gold relic time here is 1 minute and 7 seconds .22, which without speed shoes means we can't hit anything and need to slide jump and spin almost constantly. I've slightly sped up the footage for the sake of the video, as I don't have much advice that would translate well into words. Just watch the video for a general idea of what to do. Like I said, so much memorization is needed here that the only way you can really get this gold relic is by trying over and over and over until your inputs are reflexive. It's just that tight. If you do have the speed shoes, you can take maybe 2 hits from the mines and still make the gold time, but without them you don't want to get hit even once. And I mean, it might go without saying, but with the speed shoes you are going faster, which means you have even less time to react to the things that you can't see before you run into them. Wonderful. In the last portion of the level, which you're seeing now, I actually slide jump less, and that's mainly for safety, since I'm less familiar with this part of the level. Don't worry about the 3-second crates in this level, as the boulder will break them and still give you the time saving. We get to the end with around half a second to spare. We finally move on to the World 2 hub, where we have access to the levels Snow Biz, Air Crash, Bear It, Crash Crush, and the Eel Deal. Anyways, we can pick up a small achievement in this hub, a Helping Paw. We get it by jumping on poor Polar here until he spits out 10 free lives, another old Easter egg from the original game. Those lives will come in useful as well, as the game starts getting pretty hard from here on out. Again, we can do these levels in any order, but it just feels right to start with level 6, Snow Biz. This, obviously, is a harder version of Snow Go, with a whopping 125 crates to get. Sadly, we're unable to grab them all for now, as we need the red gem from Snow Go for this gem path. More on that later. For now, all we'll be grabbing is our crystal, which is in the roller segment at the end of the level, right here. We will be grabbing the Gold Relic, however, and honestly this is one of the easier ones in the game. Because of all the ice in the level, it's really easy to pick up some crazy speed, as you'll see. I actually got this in 13 minutes total and could do much better as my run was very sloppy. The time to beat is 1 minute and 9 seconds, 0.82, and a lot of my advice from Snow Go carries into here, with slide spinning through enemies and over ice to correct our direction. With that messy beginning section out of the way, our run improves from here. There's a lot of ice in the cave section, and a lot of it can help. This upward patch isn't one of those, and you do want to do a sliding spin jump to clear as much of it as quickly as you can. You can get both of these boxes with a good slide jump, but at a minimum don't miss the 3-second crate. This ice section coming up can be absolutely blitzed through if you keep sliding. In this section after the icicles, there are some very well hidden time crates, so don't miss them. You can jump and spin to hit them, nothing fancy. Some more icy slides and we fly into the last section of the level. Again, I could have done this section a whole lot better. I even missed a 2-second time crate, but because of all that speed I'd built up on the ice sections, it didn't really matter. After dodging around the rollers and making it through the door, we end with a 58.29, over 10 seconds under the time limit. I don't understand why this level is so lenient when a lot of the others aren't, but I wish this was the norm for this game. Honestly, I kinda wish the speed shoes didn't get added in at all. Air Crash is our next level, and there's a lot to get and to do here. The first thing we'll be doing is the new death route, which has been added into the game. We'll be getting an achievement for finding our first one of these, cheated death, for the time being, for 35 gamer score. To do this, we have to reach a specific point in the level without dying to ride a platform. Deaths in the bonus stages don't count towards this, by the way, and if you do die after riding the platform for the first time, it doesn't make the platform disappear. Before all that, we do grab the crystal, which is just past the bonus platform, and then our death platform is right ahead. If we had died in the level, this would be a white outlined platform. After hopping on, our achievement pops. Just like the coloured gem platforms in this game, these death platforms usually lead to clear gems, but sometimes they don't lead straight out of the level. The areas they lead to are always a step up in difficulty to the level that they're in as well, as you can see. Just take your time and you'll get to the end. Once you reach a door, there'll be a clear gem waiting for us, which we take and leave. There is more to grab in this level, such as the all boxes clear gem, but we'll need to come back for it. We can, of course, grab the Gold Relic. Again, this is one of the easier ones, even without the speed shoes. The time to beat is a very satisfying 1 minute, 0.01.01, and you'll be doing that in the same way that we did in Hang 8, by slide jumping over timed obstacles, cutting corners, and breaking every time crate that we can see, as well as boosting as much as we can whilst on the watermobile. Again, I've sped up the footage for this one a little bit because I haven't got much in the way of specific advice or new techniques to talk about. If you feel like you're doing a section too slowly, just watch how I do it in the video and try to replicate it. The only thing I will mention is, like I do, if you have an extra hit for the very end, just tank it to get over the nitros and the fish. If I had waited or spent time dodging around them, I might not have made it, as we reached the end with about half a second left. I'm making this a bit of a habit, aren't I? With the speed shoes, this relic is an absolute joke, but without them it's actually a really fun challenge, so maybe I'd recommend trying to do this one before beating the game. Super fun. Even with that, we are still not done with Air Crash. There's actually one more thing to do, which is to get the secret exit. This is another new addition to Crash 2 and sticks around for the sequel too. There's 5 in the game and an achievement for finding each one of them. The achievement here is jumping the jetboard, which I guess is what the watermobile is actually called. Oops. Anyway, we want to get to the first checkpoint here, and after this we want to make it to that platform in the water on foot by bouncing on the crates. This is one of the more obvious ones in my opinion, as the platform just looks a bit out of the way and suspicious, but some of the secret exits in this game are downright devious to find. After teleporting out, we get transported to a secret hub area, World 0 or World 6, take your pick. Here we find portals to Road to Ruin, Totally Bear, Totally Fly, Air Crash, and Snow Go. Hey, hang on a second. Yeah, here's your plot twist. Those levels that we've been unable to complete, well, 2 of them have secret entrance points, which we get to access by finding secret exits in other levels. The level that we just unlocked is the Snow Go secret entrance, so let's dive in and finally grab that red gem. The starting point is straight in the... whoops. Straight in the cave section. Oh, come on. Yeah, these areas can be a little tricky as they're out of the way and hidden, but luckily there is a boatload of extra lives we can grab here and 3 Aku masks for a nice slice of invincibility if we don't get hit. Making it to the end of this icy hell leads us to a pit, a big fall, and finally the red gem. All that's left is to make it to the end of the level and add it to our collection. And hey, by doing this we've actually super cleared Hub 1. Go us. Now technically we could grab the clear gem from Snowbiz, but I'm going to leave that for now and make some progress into level 8, Bear It. Raise your hands if you remember Hog Wild from Crash 1. Well, I hope you liked that level because this one is that, on ice. Wonderful. We can grab the clear gem here, so let's talk about that. Checkpoints are pretty plentiful in this level, and you might start to notice some extras if the game starts giving you sympathy, which is more than likely as the boxes in this level are super easy to miss. Like with the hog, move well before you think you have to for weaving into boxes, and for the ones on the ice, line yourself up in advance and don't move, otherwise you'll uncontrollably slide away. Anyways, checkpoint 1 should be our 10th crate. Our crystal is just after this, nice and early. Checkpoint 2 is crate 18. Don't worry about the TNTs as they take care of themselves. Checkpoint 3 is number 25. You should have 33 after being thrown off Polar to the end, and hitting the nitro box takes us all the way to 45. Easy as that. This is also a good level to grab one of the specific weird death achievements in this game, Crash Cubed, which has the obscure hint of Fly Then Die. Basically, from the checkpoint before the nitros, make it across, jump over the first fallen totem, charge as Polar into the second totem, hitting it, making Crash fly off into the ice water. Fly, then die. Get it? Doing this gets us another 35 gamer score. Gold Relic time again, and these levels, sadly, are a little bit harder than the hog levels to do because of the fact that Polar can dash. In Crash 1, the only real ways to save time was to break time crates, but here there's more that we can do. The time to beat is a brief 48.07 seconds, as the level is fairly short. A lot of time saving will come from knowing when it's best to dash and then jump while dashing to retain a little bit of that extra speed, which you can watch in the video to see. I definitely recommend going for this when you're familiar with how to reliably grab every crate, as a lot of the time stop ones are in the weird places in the level. I actually do miss the one near the TNT, which luckily is only 1 second, so it's not as much of a big deal. You'll have to dash and then weave around a lot of the jumping whales, as they're timed to be in your way if you're running quick. After getting thrown off Polar, painfully waiting to get control back, and then sliding through the end section, we finish with 46.08, about 2 seconds under par. Very nice. Time for one of my least favourite levels in the game. It's Crash Crush. The boulder is back with a vengeance, and now that we're familiar with it, the game isn't pulling any punches. The biggest new addition is electric fences that stretch over the whole stage and need to be slid under. For our clear gem run, we should have 8 crates at the first checkpoint, just before splitting the path. The rest of the level is down, so we want to go up for 3 hidden crates where, again, we need to be comfy with the slide jump technique to survive. Another checkpoint is just past the split on the down path, which should be crate 19. After another tricky boulder section, we reach checkpoint 3 for 25th crate. The bonus area is after this boulder section, which is our official slide jump and crouch jump tutorial, I suppose. The crates aren't too tricky to grab if you've been following this guide. These 2 moves should be nothing new to you after all. After breaking everything here and grabbing a whole load of Wumpas, we should be up to 44 crates broken. The crystal and the final checkpoint are just past here, which leads us to the final boulder section. Now, to grab everything here, we want to get as far ahead of the boulder as possible by slide jumping and using the boost pads. There are 4 crates to break at the end, which I don't think the boulder breaks on its own as they're too far out. After body slamming the strong crate and spinning the other 3, we should have all 57, and another clear gem is ours. Sadly, it's now time for the time trial, where we will need to beat 1 minute 19.83 to get our gold relic. This level has all of the same gripes for me that Crash Dash has, as since we're running against the camera, I feel like you need to learn most of the level by heart. Even having the ability to run doesn't make this much easier, as going faster just means you have even less time to react to obstacles. You'll have seen that I'm not bothering going out of my way for time crates, and like with all of the boulder levels, the boulder does hit and destroy most of everything in its path. Obviously there's no point going down the split path, so we continue down, making sure to break every time crate in the tunnel sections. We really don't want to be missing any of those in this level. Doing this efficiently is just something that comes with practice, and if you want some hint on how to do it, obviously this video is there for some material. After making it through that section, we're about halfway through the level, and I will admit I do start making less risky moves here, as I was way less familiar with this section of the level. As with a lot of the longer levels in this and other Crash games, my piece of advice is to learn how to get through the first half as efficiently as you can, so you can take your time more later on when you're under more pressure. We're onto the last stretch of the level now, and this bit can be really tricky to do quickly, as there are lots of obstacles that need specific jump or slide timing to make through unscathed. And as there are no Aku Aku masks, you need to do it perfectly. After you reach this 3-second time crate, the level is basically over. Make sure you don't clip the ceilings or the floor. We make it just under par by just over half a second. Luckily this is the hardest time trial that we're going to be doing for a while. Finishing off World 2 is the Eel Deal, a sewer level which introduces destructible fan blades and eels that electrify the water they're in. We'll be grabbing our box gem as usual, which isn't too hard in this level, as well as our next coloured gem. By the first checkpoint we should be at 9 broken. A little after this is a split path. The path with the Wumpas leads to the end, so we'll be going right into this strange room. This room hides a secret wall at the back which will take us to the green gem. I guess the hint is, why would there be a random room with a dozen nitro crates and nothing else? But it's not the best hidden secret in the game in my opinion. At the end of the pipe lies the gem. Don't worry if you die after grabbing it, it stays collected unless you quit out of the level. Back onto the left path, we reach our next checkpoint and the bonus zone. You shouldn't have any difficulty here, just body slam the pile of crates and move on. We should be at 27 after this if you grab the checkpoint like me. Another split path is just ahead. Make sure you go left first for some crates and the purple crystal. I guess this is an odd instance of one not being on the critical path actually. Interesting. Back to the split and along the right path leads us to a dead end. Make sure you grab the crates before falling down the hole. In here is a checkpoint crate, crate number 51 in fact. The nitro box and a new mechanic, ceiling grates. Jump into them to grab on and hold crouch to pull Crash up to avoid some enemies. After this section we're almost done, just a corridor of mines, the last two boxes and then our clear gem. As we've beaten the world, as always, we'll be getting kicked straight into the next boss fight before we take on the time trial. The Komodo Bros are our next foes, and defeating them nets us the achievement Komodo no Mo. This fight is really a massive non-event to be honest. One of the bros will spin around the arena, bouncing off the walls, and when he stops, we can spin him to hit him into the other bro. We then avoid a barrage of thrown scimitars by running behind them. Rinse repeat 2 more times. It really doesn't get much harder as the fight goes on. After they collapse into a heap, we obtain our next achievement and 20 more gamer score. Back to the Eel Deal, it's time to get our 10th gold relic and the related achievement Light the Fires. We'll be beating the level in under 1 minute 8 seconds .46, and this shouldn't give you too much trouble compared to the last couple of time trials that we've done. There's 2 Aku masks in the level for us to pick up so you can tank hits through obstacles to save time. This isn't even that good of a winning run if I'm being honest, but what saved it was a lot of the obstacles being timed perfectly for me not to stop, such as the eels. As always, we're going to be trying to slide jump as much as we can through the level, but as there are a lot of enemies and annoyingly placed nitro crates, it's not something we'll be doing non-stop like in Crash Crush. Remember, if getting this relic is proving difficult, wait until you beat the game and unlock the speed shoes and retry it then. Anyways, for time-saving tricks unique to this level, once you drop down the hole into the second half of the stage with the ceiling grates, we want to do as long of a slide jump as possible to cut out some of the slow hanging section. This also times the moving mine enemies nicely for us to slip on through some tight gaps without stopping. At the end of the hanging bit, you can actually drop off the grate even sooner than I did to save some more fractions of seconds. Sadly, after all of our good timing in the level, the double mines at the end have us waiting for around 3 seconds for a safe jump. I might have been able to slip underneath them, but I didn't want to risk a winning run on the last hazard. We make it to the end around 3 seconds under par and pick up our relic and 35 gamer score. Before we move on to World 3, let's pick up another achievement, Boom Shakalaka, for unlocking Coco and defeating 5 enemies with her version of the belly flop. Interacting with this portal thing in the World 2 hub unlocks playing as Coco for most levels, so don't forget to do this. We head back to Turtle Woods, but most stages have more than 5 enemies in to belly flop. I just wanted a breather, I guess. Jumping and pressing the slide button makes Coco do a butt slam, and after flattening 5 enemies, we get a very tasty 60 gamer score for this miscellaneous achievement. Let's finally start World 3, which gives us access to the levels Plant Food, Sewer or Later, Bear Down, Road to Ruin, and Unbearable. There's a lot of achievements up for grabs here, but sadly none in our first level, Plant Food. This is the final river level of the game, and it starts World 3 off with a nice jump in difficulty. We'll be getting both gems here, but first let's get that crate gem. The first checkpoint is the second crate broken. After a water bike segment, we hit checkpoint 2, our 10th crate. And a little further ahead, we hop into the bonus area. This area isn't hard to get all the crates in, but you can lose some rewards if you're not careful. The only tricky bit is these 2 crates right on the edge of the platform. After making it through, we should be at 24 crates broken. After another water bike segment, we grab our purple crystal and checkpoint 3 for 31 crates. Don't jump straight onto the water bike here, as you'll miss out on some crates on the land. After breaking them and zooming past some plants, we reach the end, hit the nitro box, and grab our clear gem. For the yellow gem, it's another time trial challenge to make it to the end from the first checkpoint in under 1 minute 10. Like last time, I'll not show you this run in its entirety, and the Gold Relic time trial is way tighter and will show you whatever tricks you need to know. Speaking of which, for our time trial we'll be ploughing through the level in under 1 minute 3 seconds .31. This is actually quite a harsh time even with the speed shoes, as a lot of this level is taken up by water bike segments. My first piece of advice is to try and keep the Aku Aku masks the level gives you for the last 2 water bike segments, as we need to damage boost past 2 plants, obviously unless there's something I'm missing. For the land segments, as always, we want to try and cut as many of the corners as we can to save precious seconds, but a lot of the challenge comes from the water bike segments themselves. It's very tricky to avoid the mines at speed while not getting pulled into or slowed down by the whirlpools. In the video we're coming up to the first part where it's very easy to take a hit. These 2 plants can be avoided with enough speed and a correct angle, but it's easier just to take the hit honestly. This takes us nicely to the bit where we absolutely need a mask, again as far as I'm aware, these 2 plants facing each other. Seriously, if there is a way to avoid these, I don't know what it is. Thank God for Aku Aku, I suppose. Anyways, after that we reach the end and just make it under par by under a second. Quite a short time trial all things considered, pretty fun. Sewer Later is next, which amazingly enough is our next sewer level, and things get ramped up a notch with these flamethrower enemies and even more dangerous setups. We've got a crate gem to get and a gem path mixed in, so let's get started. At our first checkpoint we should have broken 8 crates total. We'll ignore the gem path for now and continue forward. The bonus platform is a little past here, which takes us to a slide challenge with some mean crate hopping above nitros mixed in for good measure. Don't worry about leaving the nitro crates unbroken for now, as the nitro box at the end will destroy these even though they're in the bonus area. After reaching the end, we climb up to 25 crates broken, and, with the second checkpoint just ahead, we reach 27. Past some scary fans, we'll reach a split path. To the right is the nitro box and another exclamation crate, which we hit before going back and taking the left path. This is where we'll find some hidden crates and the purple crystal. We backtrack to the split again and head right to the end of the level, grabbing another clear gem. For the other clear gem, we need to ride the yellow gem platform I mentioned earlier, which takes us to a hard optional area where we'll be bouncing across constantly electrified water. Luckily the gem is pretty near the start of the segment, so if we die in this short bonus path, we don't have to do it again. We make it to the end and lock in the level's second gem. Now this is usually where I'd walk you through the time trial, but sadly this is where my self-imposed challenge of getting all the gold relics without the speed shoes comes to an end, as I'm almost sure we can't get close to the target time without them. So we'll save the rest of the time trials till after we beat Cortex. Bear Down is up next, and as the name suggests, it's the second of the 3 polar stages in the game. We'll be grabbing the clear gem of course, so let's get started. As with the previous stage, I wouldn't recommend dashing unless absolutely necessary, as it makes it easier to miss or overshoot crates. At checkpoint 1 we should be at 10 crates. At checkpoint 2 we should be at 25. The purple crystal's just up ahead past some whales. Checkpoint 3 is just past here, which is crate number 33. This tricky pair of crates I grab like this, it's probably the easiest ones to miss in the level. After getting chucked off polar, we hit the nitro crate and grab our clear gem. Before we move on, however, our second secret exit is in this level, which will get us the achievement Island Hopping for 35 gamer score. This is one of the more obvious ones in my opinion, as all we have to do is make it to the end of the level where we get thrown off polar, and then jump back towards the camera on these small sinking ice platforms to the big ice platform at the end. Simple as that. This secret exit takes us to an alternative entrance to Air Crash, where we can finally grab the clear gem for grabbing every box, so let's walk through that. Although it's not necessary, there's 3 extra lives up for grabs if you can make it across and back to safety over these multi-wumpers, which is a cool little challenge. Anyways, getting through this packed water bike segment gets us to the nitro box, which we hit, and then get teleported away to the beginning of the proper level. No need to backtrack, luckily. A little further ahead is our first checkpoint, where we should already be at a whopping 52 crates. The beginning is probably the hardest part of this whole level, as if you die you get sent all the way back to the beginning. After another bike segment full of crates, we reach checkpoint 2, box number 69, nice, and hop into the bonus zone. I never understand what this whole thing is about. I guess it's kind of tutorializing how to break certain types of crates? I don't know. The crate hopping can be a little tricky though. Getting through this gets us up to 77. Immediately after we get probably the hardest crate in the level, here, like so. After running past the death route platform, we hit checkpoint 3 with 89 crates, and then avoid the water bike, slide jumping over to these 4 platforms for some hidden crates, and then back. Then after we blast through the final water bike segment, we reach the end and grab a well-earned clear gem. Back to World 3, next up is Road to Ruin. This is another stage where we need to find a secret exit in another level to start at an alternate point to get every crate, but there is a death route clear gem that we can grab. The portal is really early into the level, just past the first checkpoint here, and this area can be a little rough. It's a lengthy platforming segment where we have to avoid the fast rolling logs thrown by some ape enemies. The best way to react to them is by sound, and either jump over or spin the logs away. After 2 apes and some weird platforms, we grab our gem. We quickly hop back into the level to grab the purple crystal as the death route takes us past it. The crystal is just by the second checkpoint, pretty difficult to miss. Finishing up World 3 is Unbearable, which has a lot going on in it. This is a twist on the boulder levels where we run away from a giant bear instead of a boulder. The principle's the same though. We'll start with the crate gem and purple crystal. After destroying everything in the first checkpoint zone, we should be at 6 crates broken. The next area has no crates in at all, so hitting the checkpoint is crate number 7, with the purple crystal being right ahead. Now before you go any further, this area, like the first level in the game, has a very hidden challenge zone if you jump into the pit that the bear fell in here. I guess your hint is that the whole bridge doesn't disappear, but this just seems a little cruel for just a bonus path. Anyway, here we'll be avoiding some hunters which have almost been ripped out of Rayman. There's a checkpoint in here, which is our 19th crate broken. Just ahead of the checkpoint are these 2 very well hidden crates, just off screen, so don't forget them. After some more platforming, we get dumped back into the main level and head straight into the bonus zone. This one's pretty fun and centers around slide jumping. Don't forget to double back for the crates and an exclamation box, that lets us bounce over some nitro to the end. After reaching the end, we should be at 36 crates and hitting the nitro box, and the next checkpoint takes us to 43. After the next bear run, we reach the final checkpoint, crate number 54. Only one segment left now, and it's a polar run towards the camera. Joy. Luckily it's pretty short, so we grab our gem and bounce. Technically we get booted straight into the boss encounter after this, but for the sake of continuity, let's get the secret exit in this level, which gets us the achievement No Bear Left Behind. Again, we'll have to get all the way to the end of the stage where we get flung off of Polar. Then we head back to the gap, slide spin jump over it, and meet back up with Polar where we get whisked away and our achievement pops. Our reward this time is a new level, Totally Bear, which is the hardest and final Polar stage. There's no purple crystal to grab here, but there is a box gem, so let's quickly go through that. This level has got some really hard jumps, and the darkness, although not as oppressive as it used to be in the original game, still makes reacting to what's ahead much harder. We also have to do charge jumps over large gaps to grab a handful of crates like you've just seen. Anyway, at checkpoint 1 we should have broken 16 crates. At checkpoint 2 we should have broken 23. Checkpoint 3 is crate number 31. And the last 7 are between here and getting flung off. We head to the end and grab a well-earned clear gem. Back to the main game, it's time for boss number 3, Tiny Tiger, whose defeat gets us Tiny Tricked and 35 gamer score. I actually quite like this boss as it's a platforming based boss. Tiny himself doesn't have any real attacks and just jumps after Crash one platform at a time. After dodging him for a while, some of the platforms will flash red and then drop out a couple of seconds later. This is our chance to trick Tiny into jumping into a pit by placing ourselves past one like so. When he falls, a whole load of the platforms will drop out, so get yourself quickly to safety. Repeat another 2 times and it's game over for him. The increase in difficulty through the fight is just how many platforms drop out each time. I did die a few times just by being positioned unfortunately far away from safety and not slide jumping in time, but yeah, overall really cool for a Crash boss. World 4 is where Crash 2 really starts to show its teeth in terms of difficulty, as some of these stages are real tough. We now have access to Diggin It, Cold Hard Crash, Ruination, Behaving, and the level we'll be starting with, Hanging Out. We've got 2 things to do here, but first up is the Crate Gem. We've got 93 to break in total, and in this small first area, up to and including the first checkpoint, there's 11. After the first half of a hanging crate section, we reach checkpoint 2 with 28 crates broken. Continuing on through the section, we eventually reach another hole, and dropping down gets us the purple crystal and checkpoint 3 for 44 crates. The bonus is right ahead, which this time involves us platforming over some tricky nitros and then a TNT bridge like in Crash 1. We end with several multi-wumpers that, if you're feeling sensible, you can deal with like this. After all that, we shoot up to 79 crates broken. This end section is nice and short, and after hitting the nitro box we should have broken everything and grab another clear gem. Our second objective here is the 4th secret exit, which finding will reward us with Hang In There Maybe. I don't know why I said that like that. And the usual 35 gamer score. From the checkpoint where the crystal was, we head towards the camera and jump into this hole. Now this is the type of secret exit that I really like to see in games. A harder challenge than the rest of the level, with some good rewards. Sadly, there are few and far between in Crash. There's a load of extra lives here along this treacherous grate section. That pull-up move that you can do by crouching while hanging is necessary for dodging these mines, as they're lower than the rest of the ones in the level. Getting past this fast boy and running towards the end will teleport us out and get us our achievement and access to Totally Fly. Totally Fly is one of 2 darkness levels in the game, similar to Lights Out in Crash 1, but with a nicer gimmick. Instead of your Aku mask providing light, you run around with a firefly that lights your way before zooming off, showing you what's ahead. It's not perfect, and I do wish that it was a more permanent thing, up to a certain point where it would always zoom off, leaving you with a short-term memorization section. But anyways, the Crate Gem. By checkpoint 1 we should be at 11 crates if you destroy the 4 nitros like I did. There's no boxes between this and checkpoint 2, which is right by the bonus. Here we'll be racing after a fast-moving firefly, avoiding nitros and breaking crates. It's a surprisingly scary section, but mercifully short. Don't worry about the 2 nitros, we'll be getting them later. After this, we should be at 28 boxes broken. Again, remember I've already broke 4 of the nitros. This section is much nicer in the remake than in the original. As is the trend, the darkness isn't nearly as oppressive as it used to be, so being left in the dark isn't a death sentence. This leads us nicely to a handful of extra lives, the nitro box, and our clear gem. Back to World 4, we'll be tackling Diggin It next, which is one of the meanest box gems in the game. There's 3 of these levels for me, and this is the first. We'll also be grabbing the second death achievement here, Buzz Off, for getting killed by a bee. There's loads of them in the level, and honestly it's bound to happen to you sooner or later, but this is where I got stung. Yeah, moving swiftly on, we'll be getting 2 clear gems, the second one is part of the death route, and the crystal here, so let's start properly. By checkpoint 1, all is normal, and we should be at 14 crates broken. The bonus is a bit further ahead, and this one has a very bouncy box that, in theory, we can use to get a cache of extra lives, but I muck it up. What a surprise. Not to worry. After doing what we can here and breaking the second checkpoint crate, we're up to 43. Just ahead is the death route split, and this is where the level gets mean. We head right briefly to grab these crates, and then hop onto the platform. This section isn't awful, it's just more spitting plants and bees being mean. There's a checkpoint crate about 2/3 of the way through, which is our 56th crate, and then the clear gem is just up ahead. We hop on the death platform back, and it's time for the classic crash move, running towards the camera. Ugh. This section is a bastard, there's no words for it, as we have to go quite far back to get every single crate. At some point I actually turned the music in the level down and the sound effects all the way up to make it easier to tell when a bee is coming to ruin my day, as it's really hard for me to react on visuals alone, especially if you're moving forward. After making it through a digging section backwards, we grab the purple crystal, and then our next checkpoint, banking the 69 crates we've bust so far. We still want to keep heading backwards to this bouncy box, then we run forwards to the split and break the checkpoint crate here, taking us up to 75 crates broken. Now that's the hard bit done. The remaining 20 crates are in this last section, but most of them are nitros we blow up with the box. And there you have it, the 3rd hardest clear gem in the game, down. But we're not done with digging it yet, oh no 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 no. The 5th and final secret exit is here, which will reward us with the Flora flop. As the name suggests, we're going to be belly flopping a specific plant in the level, namely this one, just after the last checkpoint. Not before it makes a fool out of me though, of course. Ha ha ha, just one last bit of salt in the wound. Thanks, Diggin It. This finally lets us grab all the boxes in Road to Ruin by dropping us at that alternative entrance that I mentioned. It's not a long section, but be wary of the hidden TNT crate in this huge clump. After avoiding some fireheads, we make a box bridge to the normal start of the level. We make our way to checkpoint 1, where we should already be at 45 crates broken. From here we continue on the normal path to checkpoint 2, which is crate 51. Don't forget to break all of the crates that appear from hitting the exclamation box. A little further ahead is checkpoint 3, where we have 67 boxes, and just past here is the bonus. This one's a bit of a non-entity. Hit a load of exclamation boxes that are just kinda there to make a bridge, and then break the crates at the end. Weird. Anyway, after this we should only have 5 more, which are these 2 TNTs and the nitro box. We grab our gem and again make our way back to World 4. Road to Ruin is a nice way to break up Diggin It and this level, Cold Hard Crash, as, to me, this is the hardest gem run in the whole game. And, to make it worse, we have to play it twice! There is a Death Route gem that we can't get at the same time as the All Crates gem, so Let's get that and the purple crystal first. We have to make it all the way to the second checkpoint without dying and jump on the platform that takes us to this hell. Yeah, it's rough going in here, and you haven't even seen the half of it yet. Anyways, making it to the end and dropping down the hole gets us a clear gem, and the purple crystal is just past the checkpoint. We reach the end banking these two and head back in to break all 155 crates. As there are crates in the death route, we still can't die in the level up to the second checkpoint. Very quickly, by checkpoint 1 at the start of the cave, we should have broken 23 crates. The bonus is a little further ahead, which is maybe the most infamous bonus in the game. Not because it's the hardest, but in the original, the camera didn't pan up enough to show you this crate on top of the multi-wumper. Many a controller has been broken over this guy, believe me. After getting through a series of TNT challenges, we make it up to 58 crates broken. After getting past some penguins, we make it back to checkpoint 2, the 73rd crate, and go back to hell. So, what's better than having to make it through this whole section? Making it there and back. Yep. Really, the trick here, if you can even call it that, is to have enough hits or invincibility to tank through the nitros at the end. Oh, and don't do this when you get to the end. Hahaha. You can almost hear me cursing through the video footage, can't you? Yeah, you want to hit this exclamation box and stop, then head all the way back left. Something I forgot which would have been handy is that body slamming on the ice stops you dead, so it is pretty useful throughout this section. It's also worth pointing out that if you have a whole surplus of lives at this point in the game, it might be worth just wasting a few of them to get the game to give you an Aku Aku Masker's sympathy, just to make getting invincibility a little bit easier. Anyway, we grab our life, keep heading back left and hop back onto the death platform. But doing all that is still only half the fun, as there's around 30 crates in the rest of this cave section that we need to get. And of course, if we die at any point, we have to do this whole bit over again. We finally reach checkpoint 3, which I think is a sympathy one for me, with 114 crates broken. Remember, a lot of these are the nitros in the cave section that I hit, so your number might be slightly different. The real checkpoint 3 is here, I think, which is crate number 119. Don't forget these 4 partially hidden exclamation boxes that make these 4 crates appear, as well as this very hidden extra life. We finally make it out of the cave and hit our next checkpoint with 134 crates broken. Again, I did destroy some more nitros, so your number may be different. After making it through this final snowy section, we break another sympathy checkpoint, I think, next to the nitro box. Only 3 more crates past here and we finally get our clear gem. Thank God, no 154 out of 155 for us. After all that, it's time to take on Ruination, which, despite the scary name, isn't actually all that bad. We'll be running this level twice, firstly for the green gem path and secondly for the crate gem. The gem platform is really early into the level, by the second checkpoint, and, like with the death route in Road to Ruin, we'll be avoiding rolling logs. This is a pretty hard section, and unlike the death route, safety is few and far between. The hardest bit for me is this upward bit, as it's very difficult to actually see where the log is and how far the platforms are apart. Maybe that's a personal thing though. After some more weird moving platforms and avoiding yet another log thrower with the help of Aku Aku, thank you Sympathy Mask, we grab the gem, make it back to the main level and grab the purple crystal for good measure, which is just here. Now for the crate gem. There's nothing stupidly out of the way here, so quickly, by checkpoint 1 you should have 6 crates total. By checkpoint 2 you should have 12. One of my extras is a nitro I stood on, so just adjust all of my numbers by 1. Our bonus portal is just past here, which is weird. It starts with this almost puzzle stack of strong crates that we can break like so. Next is a couple of stacks where we have to bounce off the TNT and land on either the top or on the other side, like this. And then we finish off with a classic crate bridge that doesn't work properly in the remake, but hey ho, never mind. Getting everything here takes us all the way up to 62. And at the end of this bit is the actual next checkpoint, crate number 66. Past some really janky platforms is our nitro box, just chilling in between some vibing rats. And our last box has turned into a sympathy checkpoint. Wonderful. We grab the gem and clear out. Our last level for World 4 is Behaving, and it's supposed to be a harder version of Diggin It, obviously, not accounting for the crate run, haha. We, again, have got a lot to grab here, including our last coloured gem, but luckily we can get everything in one. The main new thing here is the single bees have been replaced by a swarm, which I just advised to run away from. We make it to checkpoint 1 with 7 crates. Remember, you can still break crates under the dirt for a lot of sections here. Checkpoint 2 is just past a slide gate and is our 16th crate. A little ways past here is the level's secret area. There's a staircase of fake nitros that if we jump to the top of, we get whisked away. Your hint for this is that, unlike the other nitro crates, these ones don't hop, ever. Subtle, but fair. I don't mind it. Also look at it, it just looks weird, man. Sadly, the area it leads to is a bit of a nightmare. Our gem is right at the beginning, so if we do die in this area, it doesn't really matter. If we do power on through, we have to dodge more hunters, plenty of nitros, but are rewarded with a couple of extra lives. No proper crates to break in here either, which is nice. If we make it through, we get dropped back before the nitro staircase, and after making our way forward enough, we reach checkpoint 3 with 22 crates. Checkpoint 4 is right by the bonus. In this bonus we'll be weaving around nitro crates and jumping between little islands with a mix of crates inside. The last island has several crates above the nitros, so bounce carefully, making sure you don't slip. After this area we should be up to 40 crates total. The purple crystal is just up ahead, it's pretty much impossible to miss. And then a little further ahead is the nitro box, which should blow up the rest of the remaining crates, letting us pick up the next clear gem. Engine is the boss of World 4, and this is a pretty cool if not kind of easy boss, and defeating him will grab us mech wrecked and another 35 gamer score. Here we need to throw Wumpa fruits at Engine's weak points. He starts with opening and closing his arm lasers, and every so often he will do a sweep of the arena with a laser like this. You can jump over it, but I think running or sliding underneath to avoid it is easier. You're usually safe on the middle platform. After blowing up his 2 arms, his next 2 weak points are his rocket launchers on his shoulders, that alternate between covering 2 platforms of the arena in falling rockets, or later on, launching 1 rocket that sweeps across them all like this. After blowing up the 2 launchers, his final weak point is a massive laser on his chest, which you can only get 1 or 2 shots on before you need to run away, as it will melt the platform he's in front of. Luckily this phase needs way less hits to destroy the weak point, and after we do that, our achievement pops. After Cortex gets angry at Crash once again, we're free to choose a level from the final hub world. They are Rocket, Night Fight, Pack Attack, Spaced Out, and the level we're starting with, Piston It Away. Nice, nice. This level is the 3rd of those really hard crate runs I was talking about, and is probably the 2nd hardest in my opinion. It is easier in this version than in the original, but it's still very obtuse as to what you actually have to do. Sadly, like Cold Hard Crash, it involves doing a large portion of the main level and the death route, as there are crates we need to break on both. The level itself has us avoiding or platforming on timed pistons while we slide kill these crab walkers or slide and jump on these weird squid robots. Don't forget to get all of the boxes up here before you destroy the bounce crates. A little ways after here we hit our first checkpoint crate with 13 total crates. After some tricky platforming, sliding around enemies and dealing with hot pipes, we grab our purple crystal and reach checkpoint 2 with 18 crates destroyed. Just past here is the death platform, and, if you want, you can jump on it to save reaching it, meaning you can die from this point on, but you'll have to sacrifice a life to do this. Further into the main level, we get introduced to our last new obstacle, these turrets that are activated by stepping on these arrow platforms. Next up is the bonus zone. This is a really tricky one where we have to make our way back to the start after hitting an exclamation box near the end of the bonus. The trick is that due to the nitro crates, we can't break every crate the first time through, as we'll be using them to boost our jumps over the nitro safely. Well, safely-ish. The little hops that the nitro crates randomly do can really screw you over here, as some of the jumps are so tight you can find yourself committing to a jump that you just can't avoid dying in. It's really mean, but at least dying here doesn't count. Anyways, after making our way back past the exclamation box with every crate, we end the bonus with 36 total crates. Don't worry about the nitros for now, as always. We're still not done heading deeper into the level though, as we need to hit this checkpoint crate before heading back to the death platform, doing some really stupidly hard platforming along the way to avoid the turrets or spin their projectiles away. The death bonus is pretty tricky too, as well as being quite long, but luckily we hit our 4th checkpoint with 42 crates, not too far in. We grab our clear gem after some tightly timed jumps on squids, and then not too far after we hit the nitro box, taking us up to the 69 crates required for the gem. All things told, the gems from here on out are nearly as bad as this. In fact, our next level, Rocket, is quite honestly at the other end of the difficulty spectrum, if you take your time anyway. This is the last new level type in the game, and actually, I think these feel way better to play than you'd probably expect. You control Crash while he jetpacks around a space station corridor, avoiding hot pipes, what a trend, broken wires, and laser beams. You can take this level as slow as you need, and for getting all the boxes, I would probably recommend that. You can even fly backwards if you miss any, it's really forgiving. There's nothing massively hidden here, so very quickly, at checkpoint 1 you should have 9 crates broken. Checkpoint 2 here should have you at 18 crates broken. Checkpoint 3 should be crate number 23. A little while later in the level we get our purple crystal, and then after dealing with the electrified minion, we land, pop the nitro box, and grab our clear gem. Nice and easy for a change. The next level also isn't that big of a deal. Night Fight is the second Firefly level we'll be playing and is probably the easier of the two. The hardest thing about this level is the death route normal route split, where we need to do a bit of both paths for the crate gem. But it's not all that bad, honestly. With the level being so short, we do the death route clear gem first, and the platform is just after the first checkpoint. I haven't got much to say about the death route apart from apologising for the choppy footage. I think my computer was starting to melt since I'd been recording for so long. The gem is about halfway through, and the end of the level isn't that far after. For our all crate run at checkpoint 1 we should be at 5 crates broken. We take the normal route through the level. The purple crystal is just before crate 9, which is our second checkpoint. The bonus area is a little further ahead, and this is a race against time before we lose our Firefly and end up in darkness. It's a fun little romp that isn't too hard, and we end up getting a nice cache of extra lives from it. As you can see, or maybe not see, ha ha ha, I end up clearing the level in darkness, so it's not the end of the world if you do lose your fly. We come back to the main level with 29 crates broken. Just past here is where our paths reconnect, so we briefly head down the death route for these 2 crates before hitting the 3rd checkpoint with 34 crates broken. There's no crates between here and the nitro box, which hitting gets us the rest of our crates. So we grab our clear gem and clear out. Pack Attack is next, and it's the second and obviously much harder jetpack level. There's 45 total crates to grab for the clear gem, and again, none of them are super hidden. By the first checkpoint we should have 5 boxes. There's not actually many more wooden crates to break, as most of the ones in the level are nitros. By checkpoint 2 we should be at 9. By the final checkpoint we should be at 13. The purple crystal's a little further ahead, obscured by this plus arrangement of nitros. And after one final timing obstacle we reach the end, with 17 crates, and spin the nitro box for the other 28. Not many gems left now. Spaced Out is the final new level of the game, and it has 2 clear gems to grab. One we can obtain by doing a crazy platforming challenge, which we can only complete after getting all of the 5 coloured gems. And our usual all crates gem, which only has us going down the main path. By checkpoint 1 we should be at 8 crates broken. After a long corridor segment we should be at 12. The extra crate I got was from hitting a nitro, so keep that in mind. The bonus is after, and understandably this one is really tough. Similar to Piston It Away, we'll be dodging nitros and platforming around pistons. We have a timed high jump to perform here, and we'll be ending by bouncing between multi-wumpers over a pit. As always, the crates break after 5 consecutive bounces, so get counting. After making it to the end, we're up to 38 crates broken. After making it through the turret and piston section, remembering we can spin the turret projectiles, we get to checkpoint 3 with 41 crates. The purple crystal, nitro box and remaining crates are a couple of jumps away, which leads us to the last small section before we grab gem 1 and peace out. As we've grabbed the last purple crystal, we get booted into the final boss fight against Cortex, and we'll be picking up Cortex inadequate for beating him. That other gem in Spaced Out will have to wait for now. This isn't a conventional boss fight and is a chase using the jetpack mechanic. Cortex has 3 hits and we pummel him by flying close and spinning into him. You don't want to hit the rocks or mines, as although you won't take damage, it'll slow you down and you only have about a minute to chase him down before he escapes, and you lose. If you manage it, however, we'll grab the achievement and the speed shoes, and we'll have beaten Crash 2. Just the remaining gems and time trials to go. Our first gem we'll be going back for is the all crate run in Snowbiz, which we need the red gem for. I saved this one for almost last as I remembered it being nightmarishly hard, but in hindsight I think I was getting it mixed up with Cold Hard Crash. Anyways, by checkpoint 1 we should be at 13 crates broken. In the ice section we get to the red gem path and checkpoint 2 with 17 crates. About half of the crates in this level are in this enormous bonus section, which has a lot of interesting setups involving most of the game's mechanics. Bounce crates, TNT runs, nitros to avoid, etc. After a large stretch we get to checkpoint 3. It's probably a good idea to break the checkpoint before breaking everything here, as it's good for getting lives back if you die in the next stretch. We have some more nitros to avoid before eventually reaching the end of the path. Hit the nitro box and leave with 78 crates. Back along the main path, don't fret if you miss any of the boxes on the downward ice slopes, as it's possible to slide jump back up. The bonus section is next, and compared to what we've been doing, this is pretty easy. There's an exclamation box to hit which makes crates appear behind you, and then a crate and TNT stack that you can let detonate while you're a safe distance away. Not too bad overall. At the end we should be up to 110 crates. This leads us to the end of the side-scrolling segment and to checkpoint 4, no crates between the bonus and here. This final segment has us dodging rolling wheels and not much else of note. We grab our second to last gem and leave. Appropriately, the last gem we'll be grabbing is from the gem path in Spaced Out, which will also get us laser-powered vengeance and 60 gamer score. Although this isn't the hardest thing that we've done in the game, it is probably the hardest the game gets as far as pure platforming goes. If you die enough times you'll get a sympathy checkpoint right before the gem platform at the beginning. There's 4 short sections here. The first one has us bouncing on the squid enemies around tightly timed pistons. Just take your time here and wait for the timing to line up. Patience is key. Section 2 is a bit easier as it swaps the squids for turrets and crab walkers. You can slide jump through a lot of this section before the turret projectiles become a problem. Section 3 is the shortest section but might take the longest as you'll be waiting on the moving platforms to jump past pistons. The last section is a mix of the shield enemies and cruelly placed turrets, but it's pretty short and not too bad. After making it through that, the last gem platform takes us to an alternate exit which has our final gem waiting for us, and banking it pops our achievement. We also get a second, and I believe canonical, ending, where our heroes and Embryo use all the coloured gems to power a laser that destroys the Cortex vortex forever. All that's left for us to collect is the remaining 16 gold relics, starting where we left off with Sewer or later. Our time to beat is 41.29 seconds, which, with the speed shoes, is actually not the hardest thing in the world. If you remember when we first reached this level, I said that I thought it was necessary to get the speed shoes for this, as you can run straight past a lot of the enemies, including the flamethrower guys, saving time over waiting for them. The second key here, other than the usual slide jumping for extra speed, is to grab 3 Aku masks for your invincibility. This is a very dense level, crammed with enemies and obstacles, so there's a lot of places you can get hit, but luckily we have 5 masks we can grab in the level for our invincibility. I would say that you can only take 1 hit though, as the final mask is quite close to the end, so you won't get much use out of your invincibility if that's the mask that pops it. We end up with a respectable 39.73, comfortably under par. Bear Down is our next time trial, and, like the other polar level, this one is intense but super fun to blitz through. Our target time is 49.85 seconds, and for a lot of this level, I have a lot of the same advice. Dash jump whenever you can to shave off fractions of seconds, meaning you can miss the odd time crate and still be fine. The time is kind of tight, but not the worst by far. As you can see in my run, I end up missing 2 seconds worth of time crates, and in the end I was only half a second off getting platinum. I don't have any specific time saving advice. This is a level that you end up creating your own route through, but if you want you can use my footage to know when it's safe to dash jump and what obstacles and platforms you can skip over. It is also, although possible, much safer to do this level with the speed shoes, as you can just run to the end portal instead of frantically slide jumping. 46.61 seconds is our final time. Very smooth indeed. Road to Ruin is up next, and my god, this level is fun. Like I said at the end of my Crash 1 video, I really wish Crash's shadow was more visible and you didn't slide off platforms as easy, as this could have easily been one of the highlights of the whole series for me. 51.78 seconds is our time to beat, and it's a very generous time at that, as there's a lot you can do to shave off time, like jumping diagonally between the forward running and side running portions of the level. And as always, making the most of your slide jump or slide spin to blitz through enemies and crate stacks without stopping. If you're fast enough, you can even completely avoid some enemies by diagonally slide jumping past them. Finally making sure to pop the exclamation crate that you seen a little bit ago, as the 3-second crate it makes appear does save a bit of time over just sprinting through. Even with a messy final third, we end up getting through with a platinum time of 34.60 seconds. See? I am good at Crash, I promise! Really, really. Unfortunately, Unbearable is what follows that, which, I mean, I'm not one to beat a dead horse, but god, these running towards the camera levels feels like ass to sprint through. This is a crazy long level if you can remember as well, with a time to beat of 1 minute 35 seconds .53. A lot of memorization is required here to remember when it's safe to slide jump for that extra speed boost, and where upcoming obstacles and enemies are going to be and how best to deal with them, as responding correctly on reaction is a very tough ask. The time to beat isn't too tight with the speed shoes, but the hardest thing is just making it to the end at all. The wooden fences and blue lizards in this level are best to deal with by using the sliding spin move to conserve momentum, but if you slow down every once in a while, you still should be fine. Also remember, you don't have to go out of your way for crates while you're being chased, as the bear will destroy them and give you the time stop. The end of the third section has these cheeky slide gates which I really slowed down to deal with, which I would recommend, as getting this far into the level to slide jump too soon or too late is soul crushing. The final stretch with Polar isn't too bad if you play sensibly, as there are only some TNTs and 2 sets of gates to avoid. After getting thrown off and clumsily sliding through the end, we finish up with a time of 1 minute 26.25, a mere 0.15 seconds of platinum time. Hard, but very fair with the speed shoes. This also super clears World 3 for us. Hangin Out is up next, which asks us to sprint, or I guess climb, to the end in under 1 minute 3 seconds .82. This is a pretty tough ask actually, and this run barely accomplishes that, which makes me think there's some big time save that I'm missing. A lot of the level is taken up by slow ceiling hang sections, meaning our speed shoes only give us an advantage in about half of the level. Like I mentioned in the other sewer levels, you can slide jump into the ceiling grates to save a little bit of time, so maybe I could have executed those better? I also sacrifice a hit by the big stack of TNT crates to power on through without stopping, as there aren't a lot of enemies that are too dangerous in this level. You also want to maneuver around as many of the mine enemies as you can, instead of waiting for them to be out of your way. Same goes for any crates that aren't time crates, I suppose. Don't bother stopping to spin them, just squeeze on past. I could have done this more for sure to save maybe a second or two. I guess that could have got me closer to the platinum time. The last short section isn't anything too wild. I hit the nitro box and then blast through, tanking a hit to save time, and then almost die literally right at the end by the electric eel. God knows how I didn't. For once the janky hitboxes in this game are on my side, I suppose. We squeezed just under par with 1 minute 3 seconds .63. Diggin It is our next World 4 time trial, which is a fun little romp that we'll be running in under 1 minute 48.12 seconds. This is a really generous time with the speed shoes and is pretty doable even without them. I've sped up the footage considerably as I haven't really got much to say. This is a fairly bad run, as I think it was maybe my 3rd attempt at the time trial, so a lot of what I'm doing is just on impulse. The bee enemies shouldn't even get close to you most of the time, as your sprint, coupled with your slide jumps and slide dashes, keep you way ahead of them. There's no point in the level where I felt like I needed to spin dive into the dirt for safety, or any time saving moves, so just blitz to the end. I don't really know what the times were bounced around in this game. I don't think I can claim being just that good to get a time this far under par. We end up with a lightning speed 1 minute 25.31 seconds, giving us another platinum relic by over 11 seconds. Like I said, this level is a cakewalk. Cold Hard Crash is our next level, which, surprising nobody I'm sure, is an absolute doozy of a level, and similar to levels like Sunset Vista in the first game, really make me go, why are these a thing in this game? The time to beat is 2 minutes 6 seconds .07, and although this is quite generous, this level is a nightmare to get through in one piece. I have mixed feelings about my final run, as I do end up wasting a lot of time in places and do miss a couple of time crates, as you've already seen, but it would get me nowhere close to the platinum relic, as the time needed is about 30 seconds under the gold par time. Anyways, as far as advice goes, one of your biggest hazards are the falling icicles, as this level does love scattering them around. Your best way of dealing with them is by sprinting until you're almost under them, and then slide spinning to lower your hitbox so you're under them as they fall. This isn't perfect, and sometimes I swear you'll just end up in a position where they fall and you can't dodge them, regardless of your timing on the slide, but luckily you do get a couple of hits you can tank in this level. As for a lot of the other obstacles, such as the penguins or the smashers, as the gold time limit is quite generous, it's often than not better just to wait until you know you're safe to spin or jump or slide on through. I do wonder if the death route is the quicker path to take despite its difficulty, but I never bothered trying it. Something to consider though. The last cave section is the only real bit where you can continuously slide to get up to crazy speed, sadly, but make sure you do this at all opportunities to shave off those seconds. If you make it all the way through the cave without taking a hit, you're rewarded with a third Aku mask you can use to sprint through most of this final section and save a lot of time, but sadly, I took a questionable hit earlier from a penguin, so we just have 2 hits we can tank with instead, and we'll have to make up the rest of the time with sprinting and slide jumping. Without the speed shoes, this invincibility is crucial to making it under par. After some clumsy slide jumps up the metal box staircases, we make it to the end with a respectable 1 minute 57.68, about 8.5 seconds under par. And at least we made it through. I think this took me around 40 minutes of recording to achieve. Ruination is up next, which isn't much easier honestly. After slide spin jumping past the first fire, we're on our way, and our time to beat is 1 minute 19.36 seconds, which is pretty generous, but man, this is a hard level. A lot of the same advice I had from Road to Ruin still applies here. Cut as many corners as you can and try to never stop running. I take my time a bit more here as, like I said, the time to beat is generous. For example, I would recommend stopping to bounce on the box here to get an off-screen Aku mask, as sprinting through this level puts us in a lot of danger. These flaming heads are pretty difficult to time yourself around due to the global timers, so this is usually where I'll tank a hit to keep on running. The next tricky bit to do fast are these crazy rotating platforms which, although you can quickly slide spin between, regardless of wherever they are in their cycle, I'd never felt comfortable enough with where I or the platforms were even in space to do this, so take your time, you're allowed to. After this, there's not much left to note. The rat platforms can quickly be spun and jumped through, and so can the gorilla, especially if you get an invincibility off that final Aku mask. It's a shame you don't run into it before the rat platform for the most usefulness. Either of those or tanking your remaining hits are all options. After that, we end with a time of 1 minute 6 seconds .29. And if I knew I was only 2 seconds off platinum, I might have went full tank through the whole world at the end. Behaving finishes off World 4 for us, and like Diggin It, this level isn't too bad in comparison to the levels around it. Our time to beat is 1 minute 22 on the dot, which is very doable with the speed shoes and our usual slide jumps. Again, the bees shouldn't cause too much of a hassle during this level, as you should be moving too fast for them to catch you, but in situations where you are being held up by one of the electric fences, you do get hits to tank. Like with behaving, there's no massive bits of advice that I have other than don't stop sliding and sprinting. There's small, efficient movements I do to grab some of the boxes safely without stopping, but they're mostly at the beginning, as there's not a lot of tricky time crates to grab in this level. In fact, there's not a lot of time crates at all now that I think about it. They're very front-loaded. Anyway, all that doesn't matter. We sprint our little Bandicoot booty off and end with a time of 1 minute 17.20. Nice and in the middle of the gold and platinum relic times. Also, at some point during this recording session, I appear to have developed a cold, so I do apologise for that. Expect a slightly less nasally me in like 5 seconds. Piston It Away might be one of the trickiest gold relic runs in the game, but it's also one of the most generous ones. Weird, right? Basically, it's all down to getting the global timer right, and that will or won't happen within the first 10 seconds of the level. So very quickly, we wait until just after the piston comes down before grabbing the clock and first crate. Then, as quickly as we can, we slide jump and slide spin jump past the first 2 enemies and up this piston before these pistons fall. If you don't make this in about 7 to 10 seconds, restart your run because unless you're perfect, everything will be timed so badly that you'll be getting a Sapphire Relic. This was my experience anyway, maybe I'm wrong. The time to beat is 1:23.33, which isn't awful just as long as the start goes how I've walked through. In the rest of the level we'll be sliding or jumping on enemies depending on how fast or slow you're going through the level, so it's a very dynamic level to learn. My footage should give you a general idea of what you're aiming for, but you might be jumping on squids that I slide kill, etc. The trickiest maneuver after that beginning is probably slide jumping under this pipe and over this squid, but so that you're not waiting around for ages. After this, try not to set off the turrets facing towards you and slide jump and spin away from the rest. For the shield dudes, once you get your first hit, remember you can just spin into them to push them off. I even lose a little time by getting hit by one of them. After the fourth shield dude, we're basically at the end. Just a small sprint left, and we end up with a very good time of 1 minute 12 seconds .43, about 3.5 seconds under platinum. Despite what you might expect, the rocket time trial is actually quite fun. The time to beat is 59.55 as it's quite a short level, and my biggest piece of advice, believe it or not, is to try to never stop going forward and position yourself to fly into time crates as early as you can to keep up that flow. There's a lot of time crates to hit, and getting them all should give you a nice cushion in case you need to stop for some obstacles. For the electrified enemies, once you get your first hit in, just keep going forward into them and you should be able to spin them before they electrify themselves again to save some precious seconds. Some of the bigger time save crates are actually worth slowing down slightly for, like this 3-second crate, instead of ignoring. As you don't get a hit in this level, you do need to be careful of the nitros and other obstacles though, as one hit will be the end of your run, but luckily for now, a lot of the meaner setups are in the second jetpack level. After the third jetpack enemy, we reach the safe zone and quickly sprint to the goal to get a time of 49.44. Another platinum relic by exactly 4 seconds. Hopefully this level shouldn't give you too much trouble either. Night Fight is up next, this time with less dropped frames, and with a time to beat of 1 minute 10.98. I kid you not, this run that ended up 5 seconds below par was my first attempt at the time trial. I really don't have any specific advice here, just sprint with the speed shoes and slide jump over or around every enemy or obstacle you can, and you'll be fine. You can ricochet a lot of enemies into other enemies or time crates to save yourself a bit of time, but it's nothing too crazy. You might have to adapt to the hovering balls being in different places, depending on how fast or slow you're going through the level, but it's not too bad at all. We end up with a time of 1:05.36. Moving on. Pack Attack is our next challenge, and this gold relic is one of the trickier ones, and honestly, this level confuses me, man. We need to wait at the start for the first obstacle to be in a nice position before grabbing the clock. The time to beat is only 1 minute 8 seconds .29, as the level isn't that much longer than Rocket, but god is it more cluttered. And the timings of things are what confuse me here. As far as I'm aware, every obstacle in the game is either on a global timer from you spawning in a level, or a proximity based timer, meaning, in theory, if you get to a part in the level at the same time every time, you should be up against the same timed obstacle. But this level just seems to not follow this rule, especially the lasers, they just seem to be random. In the end I just decided on a route and stuck to it, making little to no adjustments, and it seemed to work out. Obviously this ends with a lot of runs of me just ploughing into an obstacle, but it is what it is, I guess. All the same advice from last time still applies. Try to never stop going forward. As soon as you spin the jetpack enemy, keep flying forward to get another spin in before he electrifies again. You even get a mask in the last third of the level, which I would use to tank through the very last obstacle with no stress, as the timing on it can be very tricky and can sap away at your time. We end the level with a pretty good time of 1 minute 2 seconds .49, but I just don't feel good about it. Never mind. Spaced Out will again be closing out World 5 for us, and although I was expecting this to be as tight as the lab or Piston It away, honestly, nah, it's alright. The time to beat is 1 minute 9 seconds .24, as it's a really short level, and the hardest bit is the first third. You've already seen the slide jumps at the beginning to get the 4 seconds of time stop, but then we follow it by slide jumping between a moving platform and a squid. Getting all this down as fast as this is really hard, but it takes a lot of pressure off in the last 2/3 of the level, where things get easier. The nitro corridor isn't too bad, although you do always run the risk of getting screwed by the random nitro jumps. After the tunnel, we slide jump over some enemies to slip into these double pistons before it closes off, wasting our time. And after this, we'll be slide jumping over hot pipes and turret triggers. You can play it safer than I do here and spin the projectiles away while jumping normally, but the level is so short the punishment for dying isn't that bad. If I'd made that slide spin jump up the piston the first time I tried it, the timing for this whole section would have been much nicer, but luckily we have hits to tank. After making sure to grab the 6 seconds of time stop, we can slide jump over the gap to the platform regardless of where it is to save a bit more time, and then quickly spin the projectile from this last turret and sprint to the finish. We end up with a 1 minute 3 seconds .69, about halfway between gold and platinum, but if it's not for Crash's slippy feet it would have been about 102. Thanks Crash, thank you. The 2 bonus stages are up next, starting with Totally Bare. No shock here, but this level's a bit tricky to speed through. The time to beat is 47.36, which needs us to get most, if not all, of the time stop crates to reach. There's actually only about a 5-second difference between the gold and platinum relics, which, for such a long stage, is quite unforgiving. I don't have anything specific to say about this level that I didn't say in the all crate run or the other polar levels. It's just learning and memorizing when to dash jump or normal jump, what platforms you can avoid and which ones you need to land on. Make sure to jump around the left side of the totem after the big gap with the 4 time crates here, as the 3 seconds of time stop here can be the difference between gold and sapphire, and cutting the corner will shave a fraction of a second off too. After this, the level does ease up a bit as it's more enemy focused. Just remember which ice block dudes to jump over, dash jump under, or sprint under, as there's quite a lot of different setups with them. It'll take a good couple of attempts to memorize everything, unless you're better or luckier than I am at reading them ahead of time. After getting flung off, we sprint to the finish with a nice time of 44.47. I don't even want to think about how I could have shaved 3 seconds off this run, so hey! I won't. Finally we're here, our 27th and final gold relic of Crash 2, courtesy of Totally Fly. The time to beat is 1 minute 2 seconds .08, and after achieving that, we will be reaching 102% and getting the 75 Gamerscore achievement, Wumper Burner Engaged. The gold time, as with Night Fight, is pretty generous, and the only main difficulty will come from this just being a harder stage. Harder enemy and obstacle placements, and more holes exactly where you don't want them. As with all the regular Crash levels, your best friends are the sprint from the speed shoes, and the slide jumps and slide spins you should be more than used to by now. My final run, as you can see here, is far from perfect, as around the middle I do some awkward jumps that saved no time, and ended up having to wait for the lizard that, if my timing was better, I could have immediately slide killed into some TNTs. The hardest twist here is that you don't get a single mask in your run, so sadly you can't tank through anything that you're badly timed for. After blasting through a line of time crates at the end, which you can do nice and quickly with a slide spin, we end with a decent enough time of 56.18, and we get a very well earned achievement. Pat yourself on the back if you got this one. It's no easy feat, that's for sure. As there's no DLC level for Crash 2, sadly we don't have a climactic end to the video, as the last achievements we have to get are 99% Perspiration for reaching 99 lives, and the incredible Crash Bandicoot for getting all other Crash 2 achievements for a combined total of 160 Gamerscore. Crash 2 is probably the hardest of the 3 games to get 99 lives in, as it's nowhere near as generous as Crash 1 is with extra lives, as well as placing the time trial clock before any wumpers or crates of the level. We don't have a sunset vista this time to help us grind. I have to grind about 55 lives after my gold relic runs, which I did by playing the levels from the first 2 worlds back to back, as at this point they were really easy, and it only ended up taking about 2 hours. I ended up getting my achievement during Barrett, finally completing Crash 2 in its entirety. Platinum relics don't exist. Shut up. Stop lying to me. With that, we finally got every achievement in the first 2 games and are up to 2000 gamer score. Crash 2 is still probably my favourite game in the series, as although some of them are very obtuse, the secrets that you can find in the stretch for 100% are the perfect tuning of difficulty for me. But even if you're not into that, it's very possible for anybody to get to the end just by collecting the purple crystals and maybe some of the easier gems. If I was to play Crash 2 N.Sane again, I would definitely ignore the relics in their entirety, as the main game is still really solid and it just doesn't need them. Our next task is to finish up the trilogy with Crash 3, but that, my friends, is a video for another day. Thank you very much for watching, and hey, why not check out my video on Crash 1 if you haven't already, and I hope to see you all when we take on Crash Bandicoot 3. Warped! sorry, I had to do it. I promise I won't do it in the actual video. I'll see you all then.